Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You are tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio station KCAA, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Podchaser, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, and more. I am Dr. Marissa, your celebrity host producer of this show about hope and happiness. So there's no gossip, no scandal, no K-words, no Kanye talk at all. Instead, I want you to focus on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests to that end, and today's no exception. But before that, you all know that I'm trying to work your muscle of focusing, choosing the best feeling thought all day long. So we start with taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich every show so that I can work that muscle. So instead of waking up and running to the bathroom and thinking and worrying about all the things you have to do, or worse, picking up the phone and swiping and scrolling through to find out what bad things happened all day while you were asleep, or people's opinions about things that really have nothing to do with your life, or looking for likes and approval, which is also not a useful exercise, because I want you to own and claim your birthright to happiness 88, which starts with approving of yourself. That's why taking a bite of your gratitude sandwich is 8 specific things, first thing in the morning, that you are grateful for. And then at the end of the night, things that you appreciate about yourself. So let's get started. And it is that time of the year called Mother's Day. So my gratitudes are going to be geared towards mothers. And the first is, if it's not one thing, it's your mother. The second thing is, there's only 2 times in your life you don't have mother issues. That's when you're born and when you die. And third, your mother's only job is to pop you out. And she did a great job of that. Any other expectations that you have of your mother being your best friend or always seeing the best in you, because that's what mothers are supposed to do, can get us into trouble. It is not an easy thing to have a good relationship with your mother. I know I have been challenged with a well-meaning mother that was sometimes more mean than well, but she really thought she was motivating me that way. And for those of you who know my story, you know that I love her. I'm actually with her right now in Toronto. Thought I would bring you these shows instead of playing old ones while I'm there. And I wanted you to know that this Mother's Day, I hope you can give yourself the gift of being the best mother to yourself as possible. Do not let an old, painful relationship with your mother keep you from feeling and being a good mother to yourself so that you can be happy 88% of the time. Okay? And since it is Mother's Day, one of my favorite interviews is with Mother from Happy Days. Her name is Mrs. Cunningham. She came into my studio, 89 years of age. I've had her son on the show earlier this year, Jim Meskimen. He's a great impressionist and actor, and he gave her my best wishes and love. She's in her 90s now, and she was a whippersnapper on my show, and I wanted to bring her as my Mother's Day special interview. while I'm away. So please enjoy Mrs. Cunningham, Marion Ross. And I'm also going to play you a little video describing one of the practices that I teach, that I'm starting to teach on the beach again, called Balanced Tai Chi Gong, also known as Chinese yoga, and you'll learn more about that when we come back here on Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm Not Using It. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where you can get red carpet playlists, including interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, and more to enjoy. So free subscribe, and you'll get an alert at 8 a.m. every weekday morning when a new show drops, especially while I am in Canada, in Toronto now, visiting my mom who has Parkinson's and spending a little time with her. But I wanted to bring you some new shows, so you'll get those every weekday morning on my YouTube channel and airing through KCAA, my NBC News Radio channel. And as promised, here is my practice called Balanced Tai Chi Gong, and this is a little introduction to it. And after it plays, I'll come back and describe a couple of things to you and maybe teach you a form or two so you can practice at home. Enjoy.
Welcome to Balanced Tai Chi Gong. My name is Dr. Marissa Pay. For the next 28 minutes, we will be slow dancing with the universe in a moving meditation that promotes inner peace, one breath at a time. Just follow the sound of my voice and move with me as I guide you through this ancient wisdom through New Thought practice. As a corporate psychologist, I created this practice in response to my life and those of my clients. We were professional, high achievement-oriented, multitasking control freaks and exhausted. No matter how many successes, it was never enough. That, coupled with a painful life experience, led me on a quest to find another way to live and back to my Chinese roots. If you practice regularly, I can promise you that it will impact all health vortexes. Body, mind, spirit, soul. You will be in a place of balance and inner peace the way we were created. 谢谢.
Be my partner, dance with me, just hold on, I will.
I hope you enjoyed that. It is actually also known as Chinese yoga, and I'm going to just teach you the acknowledgement that we do at the beginning of the practice and at the end of the practice. So you get to learn a little Chinese as well. This is the fighting hand, traditionally, in martial arts. So we close the fighting hand to show we come in peace, and then we hold the peace, so it's like an A, and you bring it down to your heart chakra, and you make a little bow and say, xie, xie. Xie, xie, S-H-E-A, not S-H-I-T, and that's Mandarin for thank you. And I use that as like a namaste in yoga. The divine in me recognizes the divine in you. So whenever you're going to begin or end this practice, you take a deep breath in through the nose and release. Good. And then you take your arms up and then come down and say, shit, shit. And that's how we start and end the practice. So if you would like to augment your meditation practice that you probably have already, or if you are someone who can't sit still for meditation, then this practice might be for you. You can get it as a download at my website, drmarissa.life. And today, because I'm introducing it, I would like to give a free download to the first person who goes to drmarissa.life and puts in the subject line Chinese yoga. And you will get a promo code for a download of that so that you can practice on your own. But if you're in Southern California, then you're going to join my class every last Saturday of the month. So the next one is May 28th. So I will see you. If you Google Plunge Restaurant, we're right in front of Plunge Restaurant. It's Cherry and Ocean in Long Beach, California. Go sign up at drmarissa.life. And the great thing is the sign up or the tuition is $20 donation to my nonprofit called 8 Ways to Happiness from wherever you are. And that helps kids, teens, and young adults who have temporarily forgotten their birthright to happiness. So you'll be helping me with that, and you will get a class and a download. So hope to see you. That is the next class, May 28th. It's also listed on Facebook. If you're not with me on social media and you enjoy my hashtag positively opinionated self, then you'll want to go to Doc Balance on Instagram, Dr. Marissa Pay on Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook. And the cool thing is I just got invited to be a digital creator on Facebook. So go watch my reels and enjoy them. All right, now it's that interview with Mrs. Cunningham, Marion Ross from Happy Days.
Now, without further ado, I am so delighted to introduce you to someone who really put a smile on my face growing up. She's best known as the mom from Happy Days, but she's also an amazing, she's been nominated for Golden Globes and won awards and Emmys, and she is a delightful 89-year young Marion Ross to my studio. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Well, Marissa, Dr. Marissa, this is such a treat for me.
Oh.
My goodness, you're a wonderment.
Oh.
You're a wonderment. And you're a Canadian.
I am a Canadian.
And my mother was a Canadian.
From Saskatchewan.
Right.
I know, that's amazing. We come from good stock. It's the I saw a Canadian cartoon one time about someone protesting, right? And he had a sign that said, "I protest." And he was just walking. So, but we left because we're too animated, right, for the country.
My mother was so important to me because I was raised as you can be anything.
Yes.
So I thought, I will, Mama. I will.
Yes.
I will.
Yeah, yeah. So you've had quite the career. You started, your film debut was in 1953 with Forever Female. You were born in Minnesota. You became famous for that, but you've never retired. You were on the Drew Carey Show, Touched by an Angel, Nurse Jackie, The Middle, and if that isn't enough, you have a book that you just released.
I
so
do.
You're the pot calling the kettle black as far as the things that I get to do. I want to grow up to be just like you. So what keeps you that active and loving and lovable and happy? You're very high vibration. I'm very lucky to actually have her here in the studio. And as soon as I met her, she just reached her hand out and went and gave me a kiss. I'm like, I am in love. I mean, she is so beautiful inside and out. So what's your secret?
What is my aura? Right. What is my aura?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a Scorpio.
Okay.
No, and you know what it is? I'm a middle child, and my brother, Gordon, was a crippled boy. So and I'm the second little girl. I think about that a lot. I thought, if it weren't for him, and I told him that at one point, I said, I owe everything to you. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be me. And now I love me. You know, but that took quite a while to fall in love with yourself.
Yeah,
you
let's
know?
talk about that for a
Right.
little. I saw a little bit in somewhere where I was reading that you had a little bit of an inferiority complex. I mean, you were around and working and rubbing shoulders and talking and eating with some iconic names.
You must have read my book. Did you read right.
I don't know if I was supposed to get a free copy, but I got one. No.
It's called
Yes.
It's called My Days, Happy and Otherwise. No, I was under contract to Paramount by the time I was 22. When you think coming from Minnesota, you know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
a lot of drive, but I was pretty intimidated by when I was under contract to Paramount. Everybody was there on the lot. They weren't off on location. C.B. DeMille was sitting around the corner in this little alcove at lunch, you know, and Marlene Dietrich would come sweeping into the dining room. And up in makeup one morning, there's a girl under the dryer, and she pushes up the dryer and gets up. And it was Audrey Hepburn.
She's my
And
favorite.
She was just my age.
Oh.
I went right out and got 2 candy bars and ate them right away. It's like you want to
love
kill
you.
yourself.
Oh. So then what happened? What was that journey like where you got to
Well,
now where-
after a long year with many experiences there, I got dropped. It was a 7-year contract with options.
Okay.
Oh, I was relieved. I was more comfortable to be dropped. But I had my agent, and now he sent me on interviews. And the first job I got was because I was an actress, and I loved having different accents. So I played an Irish maid on the series Life with Father, live, because I was trained to the stage.
Okay.
Live at
Okay.
CBS with Leon Ames and Lorene Tuttle. And that was the beginning of my relationship with CBS. Because everything was done live in those days. And that was very exciting.
Wonderful. So then that helped you feel more secure in your own abilities, would you say?
But still, I was a shy kind of person. It's funny, like lots of actors, there's a shy person inside. I don't see that in you. I know.
What?
I don't think
What?
There's a shy kid in there.
I am shy. Sarcasm is another service I offer. No, really. No. But I agree with you. I think that there's a lot of actors and actresses who are introverts.
We are.
But they've learned how to be
We want to
extroverts.
be somebody other than ourselves. So it's like,
Which is why you act.
I would meet people and I would think. In fact, I have a story. I said when I was like in the second grade, there was a little girl, and they had the cutest way of talking. It was so interesting, and I just loved it. So I started talking exactly the same way, and right away we were both sent to a remedial speech class, and I snapped right out of it. You know? And she is there to this day.
Oh, that's a great story.
When and my children would say, "Mother, you watch people, you stare at people, and I'm so sorry. I'm so interested in them."
Right. So you had the acting skill in it. You were ingrained already from a very early age. You kind of knew that.
Well, the skill comes, with years and years.
Right.
You know.
Right. What did your parents think of you wanting to be an actor?
My mother said, "Don't pay too much attention to Marion because she's going to be an actress." You know.
So she encouraged it.
Yeah, oh yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I also heard that you changed your name, the spelling of your name, from Marianne, A-N, to O-N, because it would look better on the marquee. I love
did.
that.
So when I got my little prayer book, and there's my name on there, I thought, no, this is not going to look good. So I would change the O and make it Marion instead of Marianne.
Beautiful. Beautiful. That's funny. So anything we should know about Happy Days that we don't know? That's another nice way of saying, is there any dirt? And so I'm going to break my no gossip rule because it is my 6-year anniversary. I'm just kidding. Potsy said that, Anson Williams said that it was a really great time on there, and there wasn't a lot of stuff.
No. Did I congratulate you on your 6 years? This is a lovely thing for you, darling. Yes.
And I really, when Harlan told me that you were available for interviews, it was a while back, and I said, I don't want to have her until my 6-year celebration. So I hope you were handpicked for today.
Well, Happy Days was a very wonderful place for all of us, and we had a softball team. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Anson didn't tell you about that?
No, he did not.
Well, for some reason, Gary Marshall had this genius idea. But this kept us so together because we had to play softball
as a team.
Yeah, right. And like Ron Howard is a very good athlete, so he was right field. They took Henry Winkler, and Ron trained Henry, who was a New York kid, never played ball in his life, taught him to be the pitcher.
Wow, that's so cool.
Can you believe it?
Yeah,
and
this is clean dirt.
Everybody in our cast was a good ball player. I mean, I don't think you could be in the cast if you weren't a good ball player. We played all the major fields in the United States.
That's awesome.
And then we went to the East German border and played with the U.S. infantry up in Gebelstadt on the top of where Hitler had been up there.
Really?
And they were doing war games, and they had like makeup on. The boys were all lined up and doing war drills. Here comes the cast of Happy Days, and with our red jackets and everything, and they can't move a muscle because they're in a war game thing. So I hugged all those boys.
Wow, that is so.
It's been a wonderful life for me.
Beautiful. It was, 11 years? No,
yes,
11 years,
seasons.
11 seasons.
Yeah.
And in those days, there were actually numerous numbers of shows in a season instead of the
there would be like 22.
That's a lot. Yeah. Marianne Don Wells was talking about, in the old days, how many episodes in 1 year in a season is vastly different than it is now. And what would you say, what do you miss the most about that show?
I don't miss it at all.
Oh. Good. Okay. All right, we're going there.
I got everything out of it.
You juiced it all.
Right.
You got all.
Because I did a wonderful series, because I'm an actor.
Yes.
I did a series called Brooklyn Bridge. You may not have heard of it. I played a Jewish Polish grandmother with accent, with everything. I became so Jewish. I said, I one day I listened to this woman in a store, and I said, "Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? I wish I were Jewish." And she staggered back. She said, nobody had ever said that to her before, But
not your usual.
it is so wonderful to be other people.
Yeah. Here's an aside. My mom was adopted by a Russian Jewish woman, so I'm actually Russian Jewish.
There you
through
are.
the mother's
there
line.
You are.
I have an Uncle Moishi, an Aunt Ethel, and an Aunt Penny. Yeah. Just so you know. So you never know. Yeah. But okay, so you don't miss it. Oh, you actually got a nomination for that Brooklyn Bridge, I think.
I
right?
did. I did.
Did you? That was a Grammy? No, I mean Grammy.
No,
an Emmy. It was an Emmy.
Emmy.
Yeah, wrong industry.
And then I got nominated for an Emmy when I was with Shirley MacLaine, and we did The Evening Star, which is the second episode of what?
The second episode of
the original was.
Okay.
Anybody out there listening would know.
Yeah.
Shirley MacLaine won Academy Award for the first part, so that was interesting too.
Yeah. What is she like?
difficult.
Really?
I thought.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we're not going there. And next, so let's put the moose on the table. I know that it was tough for you when Aaron passed, and so I wanted to. Who was it? Someone came on with me, and we were talking about how difficult it is without support to even be part of this thing called Hollywood. And whether it was cancer or whether it was drug abuse or whatever it was, the truth is, and Corey Feldman's been on here. It's not an easy road, right? There's not a clear support
I think
system.
Isn't Ron Howard a wonderful example of how you can survive this business? And I attribute so much to his wonderful father, who just passed away several months ago.
Okay.
Rance Howard. What a difference, Little Aaron's parents loved it, came to all our parties, stayed all night, so it's a whole, it depends on who's racing you,
On the balance.
To balance.
Yeah.
Because you could find that with any adult. Look at how many adults have trouble handling themselves in this business.
Right.
It's short term. It's all of a rush, and then there's nothing. It's up and down. Can you take it? Can you take it? And all the time I kept thinking to myself, can you take this? I think, you've got to have nerves of steel and an ego that can go, take a beating.
Yeah.
Well, you're in the limelight.
Yeah. I always say a bad day for the ego is a good day for the soul. And that's how I get through it. And baking your own cake. You have to be able to validate yourself. At the end of the day, have I done the best that I can with the time that I have and the resources I have? And then it doesn't matter who says that you're a whatever, right?
When I was under contract at Paramount, I would watch. I was always very watchful. I would watch. I would think, ooh, no. Not that. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm still here at 89.
At 89. I put down 90 in my social media because I read somewhere it was 90. So I should have believed Wikipedia it was 89, but you're going to be 90 years young in 6 months. And if you've just tuned in and you're wondering why my guest looks just a little familiar, it's because she has not even aged at all. My guest today is Marion Ross, the iconic mom, Mrs. Cunningham from Happy Days, here to celebrate my 6 years on the air on Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa. And we're just having a lovely chat, getting to know each other, although I do feel like we've been friends for a while.
Well, now, listen, Doctor.
Yes.
What is your doctorate in?
So I have a PhD in organizational psychology. So, and you know what PhD stands for, right? Well, you know what BS is bull shiitake. MS is more shiitake, Master of Science. And PhD is just piled higher and deeper. So don't give me too much credit.
All right.
But it's a field that looks at how people and organizations get along or they don't. So power, politics, miscommunication, conflict, which makes me very ready in Hollywood.
No, this is what's fun to be an actor, because I'm so interested in the dynamic of people.
Yeah, you're very observant.
Yes,
very observant.
I observe, and because I think, I would like to be you.
I would like you to be me.
I would like to be you.
You look, try it. Be me. You cannot be shy, and you have to kind of step in it every once in a while.
I don't think I could be so verbal. You're very articulate. It's wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Wow, I love it. I love it. I love you. So where can we find your book? First of all, I know we're going to talk about that when we come back from break, but
Amazon.com.
And
Barnes
it's
and
Happy
Noble.
Days.
Happy Days. No, it's called My Days.
My
Happy
Days.
and
Yes, yes.
Otherwise, yeah.
And you're on a whirlwind book tour.
I am.
She gets. I was just talking to her beautiful publicist and assistant Gwen.
Gwen Barone is my assistant. She's been with me for 26 years, and now she runs everything, and she tells me what to do. So
keeps you in there.
Yes.
And you're going to San Francisco after this. You have 1 or 2 interviews every day.
I know.
Yeah, and you don't get tired.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what would you say your life motto is? What keeps you ticking? What keeps you fresh and exciting and excited? What do you do?
I don't have it all in a capsule. I'm a Christian.
Okay.
You know? So
Yes.
and I'm just very interested in other people because maybe I'll be you. That's it.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
I could be you.
Yes.
I'm not so keen on being myself. You
Okay.
know. And
What do you say to people who aren't happy with themselves? How would you?
I wouldn't be jumping in there. I wouldn't be giving them advice, but I do tell people that you can be anything, because that's the way my mother raised me. You know, you can do it. You can do it.
Yes,
whatever
and
it is
that's
you
exactly
wanna
what I
do.
wanted you to say.
Whatever you want to do.
Beautiful, beautiful. So, what advice would you give to people who want to get in the industry?
Well, thank God. Look how big it is now. Oh, it's so wide open. And if you do go to college and university, okay, then you can do wonderful work there.
Right.
It's a wide open world, much bigger than when I did it. And in fact, nobody when I started was going to be an actor in college.
Yeah. What are your favorite memories of people that you've worked with, and not so favorite memories?
Well, I worked with Clark Gable on Teacher's Pet, and he was an absolute darling. And I have a wonderful picture in my book with him. And I worked with Cary Grant on Operation Petticoat. We all went to Florida with the pink submarine, and Tony Curtis, and that was wonderful. And like sitting up on the conning tower one day, it was against the moor, moored up, and we thought we were going to go out and shoot, in the submarine. And I said to Cary Grant, he came up and sat beside me on the conning tower, and I said, I don't think I should go down in the submarine because I'm this much pregnant. I'm too much pregnant. 2 months pregnant. He said, "You are," and he started to cry. Right. So that's my son Jim Meskimen, who is an actor. He's a wonderful actor.
Oh, beautiful.
So that we had that moment together.
Oh, and you have 2 kids, right?
I have 2 kids. My daughter Ellen Kramer was a writer producer on Friends.
Really?
And my daughter used to say to me, "Mother, you hurt my feelings. You're so shocked that I'm doing this." I said, "Well," I said, "it's kind of a big deal. It's kind of a big deal."
Oh, that's wonderful. So they've followed you.
They have. I didn't want them to, and they didn't
Why?
until. Well, it's not something you would encourage people to do, would you? No, I don't think so.
Well, let's talk about that. What is it that happens? I mean, I think the global or the bigger context that I'm trying to get at, with all this stuff going on with Weinstein and all this craziness and all this coming out of the woodwork and the horrible things that can happen. Is that why?
No, it's the percentage of success. It's a hard road to hoe.
Okay.
You're not. Your chances are very slim. Like 1% of population makes a living in Screen Actors Guild. Like 1%.
You mean 1% of the
members
people
of the members
I didn't know that.
of SAG?
Wow.
Because there's thousands of members. All right. This is not going to be easy. So you almost have to be compelled beyond what you can
You have
believe.
to really, really want it.
And you would understand that because I'm sure you are like that.
Yeah, you have to really, really want it.
Could anyone have stopped you?
No.
No. Or me? No.
No. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't, in a good way, you don't care what people think. Like what you think of me is none of your business and none of my business.
I don't even know if that plays into it because you care terribly.
Yeah. Okay. That was a fib. So I'm putting the moose on the table.
You.
That's my Canadian version of elephant in the room, by the way. Just in case you were wondering why I kept saying that. So you have to really want it, and you have to care enough. It depends on who,
right? It has to be gut level. It has like you're going to die. If I would be with some other young people that were so talented, I couldn't bear it.
Mm-hmm. Well, your reaction when you saw Audrey Hepburn, right?
I could hardly bear it.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
And then you just do it anyway. Gospel according to Nike.
Just keep on doing it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Any regrets?
None.
Yes.
Oh, isn't that
I
something?
knew she was going to say that. I knew she was going to say that.
None.
Yes. That's the way to live. And that's why you look the way you do.
I have a wonderful life. and I always joke. I say, I have every penny I ever made, which isn't quite true. But I did a play with Jean Stapleton. She said, "Why do you say that to people?" Why do you tell? I said, "I want people to believe that."
I love your sense of humor. You're very funny. You're very funny. So, are your siblings still around?
Oh, my children are. My son Jim is tremendously successful. He's in a commercial that you may have seen. Mm-hmm. He plays George Washington being hauled across the freeway in a boat for Geico.
Yes. That's a funny commercial.
My son Jim.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
Ellen Kramer is now producing a brand new pilot. She's got it in the can. It's all done for ABC.
Wow.
I don't know the name of it, but
that's okay.
So they're editing that. They're finishing that. Mm-hmm. So. Everybody in the family.
Great. And your brother is still around the world?
No, my darling brother died.
Yeah. What's his name?
Gordon.
I think
Ross.
that was a beautiful tribute that you gave it. And
it was wonderful. He came to my house. This was years ago, and he was helping me paint. And we got the rollers. We're painting the walls.
Wait, I thought you said he was crippled.
He is crippled,
but he can paint.
But he only just has one peg leg. They had to take off the lower part of his leg.
Okay.
When he was like about 16, and then he got a fake leg.
Okay.
Well, he got more mileage out of that fake leg. One time he's driving and the policeman pulls him over and he said, policeman says to him, "Get out of the car." He said, "Well, I can't because my leg is in the trunk." Anyway.
Now we know that sense of humor runs in the family.
Right.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed the interview, and there's more when we come back here on Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 102.3, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, and my YouTube channel, where you can get red carpet playlists, including interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, and more to enjoy. So free subscribe, and you'll get an alert at 8 a.m. every weekday morning when a new show drops, especially while I am in Canada, in Toronto now, visiting my mom who has Parkinson's and spending a little time with her. But I wanted to bring you some new shows, so you'll get those every weekday morning on my YouTube channel and airing through KCAA, my NBC News Radio channel. And since it is Mother's Day, one of my favorite interviews is with Mother from Happy Days. Her name is Mrs. Cunningham. She came into my studio 89 years of age. Please enjoy Mrs. Cunningham, Marion Ross.
And today is a special show. It is my 6 years on the air. And because it is, I have the best guest to bring to you today. And it's the mom, Mrs. Cunningham from Happy Days, who kept me very happy when I was young, Marion Ross.
Now,
Da, 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 da. Do you know she's the voice from the grandmother in SpongeBob SquarePants? My daughters are going to be really
you have
impressed
daughters?
by that.
You
I have two beautiful girls.
I don't understand how you avoided becoming an actress. Was that hard?
You know what happened? I grew up Chinese. I know you thought I was Swedish, but in a Chinese household, acting, modeling, singing is like stripping. You have to be either a doctor or a lawyer or a PhD. And my father was a PhD. And so from the time I was 5, I knew I was going to get a PhD. And I took 1 year off between my 2 masters. And I actually was going to be a singer. And I had interest from 5-Star Management, Sade's Management. And I got a surprise visit from my father who said, "You're good, but you're not that good. And you have to really want it because there's people out there who really, really want it. And you're not dying for it. You're just, you think you like it, but you've always wanted a PhD. So go get it." And so because of that, and I love my father, and it was the right thing to do because I'm singing now, and it's good, and I can do everything, and I love the variety of the things that I get to do, and I think you're right, that 1%. I don't know if I have that kind of tenacity to want to just do that. But if you have a role for me, I would love to work with you. But I take that as a compliment. Thank you.
Yes, because you have the drive, and it's lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
You must have had a wonderful father, right?
I had a beautiful father. I could fall into him. I lost him from lymphoma in 2000, but he was the guy that I could fall back into. And he's still there, loving me and supporting me from the other side. And he's laughing right now, and he's probably saying, "That's not true."
Does the audience know all about you? Do they know all this about you?
Pretty much. I'm a pretty much live out loud kind of gal.
And
gets
you
me
have
into
two
trouble.
children. You have
two
two
beautiful girls. This show's about you, not about me.
Oh, I know, but well,
they don't want to know about me. They want to know about you.
You see, that's what makes me what I am, because I'm always interested in you. I'm always interested in you. My children would say, "Mother, you stare at people. You stare," because I'm taking you apart. I'm studying you. Maybe I'll be you because I'll use you. Maybe I'll be you.
Yeah, you can. I think that there's a story somewhere. I have a book coming out in August called 8 Ways to Happiness from Wherever You Are. And I'm using this show actually to unveil it. And I was going to do it in my Balance Bar announcements at the end, but you gave me a great segue. And in that book, I do talk about everything. And I don't regret anything that happened because it made me, like you said beautifully before, everything that I am now. And even that oppressive, cultural side, I'm a Leo in 6 planets. So that would explain, right, why I need to be doing what I'm doing, right? So I love what I do. I think that maybe one day that would be, but I kind of like doing this. I like not being the center of attention.
Well, right. I would think writing is you're isolated. It's kind of a lonely thing. But my book, My Days, happy and otherwise. But even in my book, I think there's a little diary that I wrote when I was like maybe in the 6th grade. I said, someday I'm going to be very famous, and people are going to be just clamoring all over me because they want to talk to me, and they want, and I love to find that diary, in pencil, in this little.
You have it?
I have it. And I have the pages especially because I tore them out.
Maybe that's do you believe in law of attraction?
I don't know what that is.
Well, it's Anson talked about it too, and a lot of the actors that come on here, it's like you have a vision, like you did in your diary, of what you were going to become and who you were going to be.
Yes.
And you may not believe in it, but it kind of came true, right?
Yeah.
Because you fulfilled that intention.
I did, yeah.
In a big way.
Right.
In a big way.
No, I couldn't bear it. I left after the 10th grade. Because I would go in the library and read who's who of famous people. You know, these big books, who's who of famous people. And then it said they were born and then they're famous. And I thought, well, what happened? What happened in between there? Mm-hmm. How did that happen? Mm-hmm. So the desire to become somebody special was early. And then when I finished the 10th grade in high school, so you're a sophomore. Yeah. I said to my mother, can I go, because I would read theater arts magazines, and there would be ads for schools, and they were all in New York, excepting for one in Minneapolis, in the McPhail School of Music and Drama. Okay. And I said to my mother, can I go up to 100 miles up to Minneapolis and take care of some children and go to this school in the summer? My mother said, of course you can. So
you are just like your mother.
So off I go, and I worked for that family and took lessons, and the family then said, will you stay for the year with us? And my mother said, of course.
Love it.
How many mothers would let you go? Now I'm 14, 15.
Wow. So she was a tremendous fall into support.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a beautiful story. So would you say that you have met that goal? Do you feel special?
I do indeed.
Good.
And I think Happy Days, it puts you on the map. You want to.
Well, I mean, you say Happy Days and everybody goes, oh, yeah, I know.
They know it right
across
away.
Generations. Even the youngins, I would say, you're never going to get guess who.
Because I am SpongeBob SquarePants' grandma, and that's kind of a biggie.
Yes.
I didn't know it was such a biggie.
Oh, it's a huge thing. It's a huge thing. And you were Leslie Nielsen's wife in Superhero, right?
That was good.
And you played Sally Field's mother on Brothers and Sisters.
Yes. See, that was a fantastic series.
And Gilmore Girls.
Gilmore Girls. I love the
on that one. And that 70s show. Now we're going through. I mean, it's like you're so much more than Mrs. C. I know that you're known for Mrs. C, but this is why you have to read the book and get the pictures and all of that, because it's such a rich career. You've had, Cary Grant, Lauren Bacall, SpongeBob SquarePants. That's like a huge. That's decades of
and I always like to talk about Noel Coward. Do you know who Noel Coward is? Not so much. So that's why I don't mention it so much. A giant of the theater.
Okay.
Noel Coward.
You worked with him?
Yes.
In New York?
No, here.
Here?
We did a big production at CBS of the play that he wrote called Blithe Spirit. And in it was Lauren Bacall, Claudette Colbert, Sir Noel Coward himself, moi. And to me, that's in my book, because that's very important to me.
Beautiful. And two things that I forgot to mention. One, you were voted the most likely to be an actress, right, in high school? Something like that. I read that.
I think so.
That was
in
that.
My yearbook.
Yes, and you got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame in 2001.
Yes.
And in 2008, they renamed and dedicated the Marion Ross Performing Arts Center in your hometown of Albert Lea.
Of Albert Lea, Minnesota.
Yeah.
They named the theater. I mean, it was Minnesota,
Minnesota.
In fact, one of the drama teachers that I studied with in Minneapolis, she said, "You can't speak the way you do, because I had a real nice, Minnesota accent, it's real nice. So I had to, and then she said, you can't breathe the way you do. So now I had to breathe with my diaphragm. Now I could. By the time we got on the train to move to California, I couldn't talk at all.
That's great. That is super beautiful. So we're almost out of time. Two questions. One is, what do you hope for us as a planet right now? What do you hope for people who are living in this time? What do you wish for?
Well, being such an optimistic person.
Really?
Yes, I am. I know scientifically it's not looking good. It's not looking good in a lot of ways. But, if anything were to happen to our planet, we would just go to another one. Use another one. There's lots of them up there.
Okay. All right. All right. And then the last question is, I ask all of my guests. Before I do that, I do want to give her, because I don't give all my guests this, but you really have touched my heart. You touched my heart when I was young, because it was not an easy upbringing I had. And I have to say that I'm going to get teary here. I was only allowed 4 hours of TV a week. That was it. And yours was one of the shows that I watched. And watching it, gave me a little bit of hope and happiness in times when there wasn't a lot. So thank you.
Wait till I tell the Fonz that.
Okay. Yeah. Who and what are you? Oh, that's what. I'm going to give you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award.
Okay.
So that doesn't go to everyone, but it goes to people who really have made a difference on the planet, and your work and your craft and your role really has done that. You were like my mom.
Thank you, Doctor. I wish I were your mom.
Yeah,
Yes.
I wish you were too. And then the last question is, who or what are you most grateful for in your life?
That's a very hard question. There's another book, I think. Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're not going to answer the question, okay? That's okay. I am.
But you're a very easy crier. I'm an easy crier too.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean we have thin emotions.
No. Tears are the disinfectant that keep your heart soft.
I know.
So I never apologize for crying, and I love it when people cry on my show. But I was supposed to make you cry and not vice versa. So I failed today.
I made you cry.
Made me cry.
Oh, for crying out loud. Yeah.
Yes, you're going to soon get that top spot of all the people that I've interviewed and the best shows that I've done. So thank you for coming on the air.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in front of the cameras.
I've had a wonderful time.
Marion Ross, the one and only. God bless you. He already does.
I hope you enjoyed that interview. She is truly one of the most inspiring, balanced, happy people, perfect to be on happy days. This Mother's Day, I hope you can give yourself the gift of being the best mother to yourself as possible. This is Dr. Marissa reporting live from my living room. Now go forth and multiply the happiness that you are, and have the best weekend ever.